excess versus access. What I prefer is an access model. So it's excess versus access. Access to me is having a lot of devices like Chromebooks available every time they're needed, but not when they're not needed. I've always been an educational technologist in some form at schools. The first schools I worked at, I was managing desktop computer labs. Schools didn't have laptops. Laptops were a novelty and they weren't very fast. So schools invested in the physical space of a lab, which had big powerhouse computers, and they were desktoped. They were networked and they were local, meaning those entire school networks were not in the cloud. That's the opposite of the cloud. That's like the local water bottle, but not the vapor of a cloud. So it started out in classrooms with a local closed network. Then it started to add email in. Then students could email versions of documents back and forth. So the floppy disk started to go away because we had email. It was a mini cloud started to exist. But then we had a software issue. Some people had Microsoft Word, some had Work, some had Pages. And so there wasn't a lot of continuity. So a student might be at home working in WordPerfect. They'd email that document to themselves because they didn't have a printer or their printer was broken. They'd get to school and the school wouldn't have WordPerfect installed on their network, so they wouldn't be able to even print their document. The cloud and cloud platforms like Google Docs and Microsoft 365 have changed all that. But a lot of our older mindsets still exist. I see older administrators still sending each other Word documents in emails as attachments back and forth when they're co-authoring documents. It's okay, but you start to lose a lot in that translation. There's an immediacy that's lost. Because if I email you a document and then you open the last document I sent you and you overlook the one with the newest changes and you go and edit the last version, that's totally inefficient. With a Google Doc, it's a central point of entry. If I edit it, you can see it in real time. And it's given us an opportunity to be more efficient in our workflow. And that's not just at schools, that's in all business. But getting everybody onto a completely cloud native environment is what's going to be essential to continue this growth. One of the things I'd like to see changing at schools, I work at a school that's a one-to-one Apple laptop school. To me, that feels like excess. The amount of time during a day when those students are actually really needing a Mac laptop is maybe 5% of the day. What I prefer is an access model. So it's excess versus access. Access to me is having a lot of devices like Chromebooks available every time they're needed, but not when they're not needed. It removes the need for a student to have to transport a $1,200 device to and from school every day. It gives students the ability to just be free when they're not in the classroom. They can go to the library and check out a Chromebook. They log directly into their Google account and they're able to work on their work. Most of school is still Word, PowerPoint, and internet. There's not a whole lot going on other than that, and most of the apps or the games that people play are web-based, so they don't even need software. This has a long-term benefit for the school because the equipment is a lot less expensive. Chromebooks are incredibly easy to manage as a fleet, and students reduce anxiety because they're not worried about that $1,200 laptop that's in their back pocket getting stolen when they're walking from the school bus back to home. We're not there yet. We're still evolving these conversations. The technology companies are really pushing these one-to-one ideas really hard, but they don't have proof that this stuff works. And I think the proof that we do have is that students are entering an emotionally vulnerable version of their growth and not something that's transformative like schools should be. We're really having negative social effects and very little academic growth. And I think what's more important is those social aspects of these kids, and then the academic growth will happen. naturally. We have to monitor screen time, not just at school, not just as homework, but the entire child. What are they doing in the summer? What are they doing after school? What are they doing on weekends? This is a collaboration with the parents. Parents have a really hard time regulating their kids' screen time. Because of the addictive nature of that screen, kids behave irrationally when you try to take it away. So that whole conversation is a lifelong conversation. Schools should be checking in, they should be using software to measure these things, and they should be making an effort to reduce the excess screen time at school with access screen time. Access screen time is essential because it helps kids just get down to their work, and then it takes away the need when they're free time. They're at school in a community of 400 other kids, and they should be playing socially, in person. It's not letting me! Quit saying that.